And good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of On the Hunt with Alpin Optics. I'm your host, Rick White, and we've got a great show lined up for you this evening. Our guest comes from Missouri, Mr. Jordan Dean, and we're going to talk a little fishing, a little deer hunting. You just never know what we're going to talk about. But anyways, Jordan Dean is our guest tonight, and we'll start the show in about 30 seconds. All right.
Hey,
Well, welcome back, everybody. And if you're just now joining us, you are watching On the Hunt with Alpin Optics. And I'm coming to you from a balmy afternoon here in Iowa. We've got some storms in the forecast, but right now it's not looking too bad. So maybe we'll get the show done before the storms roll in. But anyways, been a hot weekend or hot week so far. And I'm sure it has been for a lot of you folks as well. But anyway, hey, let's jump right into the show. Our guest is Mr. Jordan Dean, and Jordan's been on the show several times. Jordan, how you doing this evening?
good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just quite well. What's going on in your life right now? How's work going?
Oh, it's going. I'm actually in Decatur, Illinois right now. I'm working over here for a few months, so it's just as hot over here as it is in Missouri. I know that. So it's been
Well, you
pretty
were in
miserable
St.
last.
Louis. I think you said you were in St. Louis yesterday.
Yeah, I'm working Decatur to St. Louis. So on the trains, I'll get on a train in Decatur, take it to St. Louis, stay the night in the hotel, and head back to Decatur the next day.
You know, you and I have something in common, and you probably know what that is, don't you?
Good looking.
I'm not
He
even going
said
to
in
answer that.
common, Jordan.
Yeah, I said in common. I didn't. It's not a one-sided
Oh,
conversation here. Okay.
my bad.
Um, no, we're St. Louis Cardinal fans.
Oh yeah, I wish I'd have went to the game last night. So it was a good game.
Yeah,
Both of them,
well,
both double.
I've got a buddy of mine that actually is at the game tonight against Pittsburgh. I think it starts here in about an hour, I think. So, anyways, listen. Uh, let's talk a little fishing. You know, turkey season's over, and we've already talked about that. But let's talk a little fishing because listen, we're going to talk crappie fishing, and you can throw in whatever else you've got. But you know, I know a lot of good crappie fishermen. And I've fished with some pretty good crappie fishermen. Mike McDonald, one of our staffers, is an excellent crappie fisherman. But you are also, in my opinion, a pretty darn good crappie fisherman because I've seen your photos. I mean, you just smash them. So, what are some of the tricks of being able to go out and limit out most every time you go? What are you doing? I mean, I know you've done it for a long time, but is there what's your secret?
Huh. Well, the secret's just finding the fish. The whole week, I'll send you all those photographs. The spawn. We call that amateur week. Anybody can go down there and catch crappie right off the banks. 18 inches deep. It's pretty easy. But now there's a lake at home. I fish a lot. A lot of brush piles around. So you just got to know where the brush is. You find brush, you'll find the fish. So you just
Are
got to know
you
where to
are you
locate the brush at.
catching as many fish? I mean, obviously, probably not. Or do you do just as well this time of the year? I know when the spawn's on. I mean, and I was fishing when the spawn was on, and we were just catching them one after the other. But you don't quit fishing just because the spawn's over, do you?
No, whatever chance I get, I try to go. You can even ask my wife that. But they just move deeper. They'll move deeper. They won't be nearly as aggressive. When they're spawning, they're right along the banks protecting that nest. So anything that comes between them and their nest, they're going to hit it. So that makes it a lot easier. But like crappie, they'll go down 15, 20 feet, and you just find the structure, and they're, believe it or not, they're a pretty simple fish to catch sometimes.
Are you there, Rick? Hey,
Can you?
somebody's calling him again.
Yes, I don't understand it.
Stop calling him. He's on the
Oh,
show. So, have you ever been down to Arkansas to fish?
I'm sorry, I had a phone call as well. I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh my gosh, it was a call for everyone.
Yeah,
Did you ever been
yeah.
to Arkansas to fish?
No, I have not. I'd like to get down there. I'd love to go down and fish Mississippi. I'd love to fish those lakes, Granada and all those really
Yeah,
good crappie lakes. That's gonna be here in the next few years.
they're everywhere. I mean, if you want to go crappie fishing, Arkansas is kind of the place. I mean, it's
Yeah,
all over the place. So,
yeah,
Am I back on?
yeah, you're back.
yes.
Oh, I did. I got a phone call and I could hear you guys, but it does crazy things to my phone. So I'm glad you are able to catch that and jump in and help out. Um, so you was talking about Arkansas and
It's all I know about
you fish.
fishing. So,
Right, right. What, Jordan? What do you have a favorite? I mean, are you jigging crappies most of the time, or just a certain time of the year, or what do you? How are you fishing?
No, I usually jig. I usually use a 1/16th out jig head and just a tube skirt. It don't matter color. I've catch them blue and yellow, red and white. No matter. It don't really matter the color. Uh, Earlier this spring, I caught some crappie, and inside their bellies was, you know, 2-inch shads. So then I went to a 2-inch shad lure from Bass Pro, and I started catching those, pretty regular on those. You just figure out what they're biting on. So, when you cut open a fish and you see there's 3 or 4 2-inch shad in there, you better go to a 2-inch shad looking lure because that's really, that's the size of the shad that's running through there at the time. So that's how I
I know.
caught a lot of the fish.
Right. I know when I was fishing with Mike in Kentucky this past turkey season, uh, we were catching fish on a lot of different jigs and stuff, but we had one specific color. And if Mike's watching the show, he can get on and let us know what that is. But we caught like 80% of the fish we were catching, and we caught them more often quicker, was one particular color. I mean, they were just tearing it up. We were catching them on some other colors, but not near as fast and near as
Yeah,
many. So, I think you're right at the right, and I don't know what that color is. Maybe it changes due
yeah.
to maybe the depth of the water, or the clarity of the water, maybe the temperature of the water. But boy, we were hitting them with one specific color, and we were jigging them as well. Um, years ago, I used to catch a lot of them on minnows. Are people fishing minnows anymore for
You know,
crappies?
yeah, there's a lot of people that will. During the spawn, it'll work really well. During the, I guess, I don't fish out of a boat a lot. There's a bridge that goes across this lake that I like to fish, so I don't really need a boat. If you're in a boat, they're pretty easy because you can, vertical jig. I use a 12-foot crappie rod, and sometimes my bobber is set to 8 to 12 feet, depending on the lake level. So I can't really cast out there with a minnow on the end of my hook because it'll go flying off as hard as I got to cast to get out there by the brush piles. So
Right.
that's I just
Now,
I just stick to
now,
jigs. Now, if I'm in a pond, I might use some minnows.
now, you usually sometime you have a season on a snagging season on, I think, paddlefish. Is that right?
Yeah, it goes from March 15th through the end of April. So you're
Okay.
allowed
And
2 spoonfuls a day.
I remember last year you did real well. You caught some big ones. Did you even get out this year? Or?
No, we never did. I do know that down there at Wablo, they always go on a after their turkey hunts, they go on a snagging trip, and they did really well. But no, I did not go snagging this year. First year in probably 8 or 9 years, I didn't go. So I wish I would have, but I stayed home crappie fishing.
Right. Well, as you can tell, the bugs out here, I should have put some bug spray on. The bugs are just tearing me up. They must know that storm's coming. It's been pretty warm down your way, I imagine, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty warm. I think next week though, I seen the actual temperature is going to be like 103 here in Decatur.
Oh boy.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're getting close to that here.
it's going to be a bad 2 weeks. So I hope the ponds don't dry up and we get usually that late August when we get that bad heat. So hopefully it doesn't do nothing
Yeah,
but
you
deer.
know, and when that with that heat in the Midwest, sometimes comes EHD that affects our deer herds.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to talk about it right now because I'm hoping we don't have a bad case of that this year again. So, uh,
Yes.
but it can happen. So, so any other fishing you're going to be doing? I mean, you're still trying to get out some, I'm sure, through the summer.
Well, I'm actually signed a 6 month contract to be here in Decatur, which I'll be home twice a week. So I'd really like to find some walleye fishing here in Illinois, or maybe drive even upstate Illinois, or even somewhere farther north. I'd like to. That's one fish I've yet to catch is a walleye. So that's on my bucket list. I want to catch a mess of walleye this summer. But other
I
than
got
that,
you. I go. I couple. Just say a
go ahead.
couple times a year, I head up to Lake Erie, and we always do really, really well on walleye. And in fact, I'm going. I'm going in July sometime. I'm not sure exactly when yet. So, but they're catching them right now. I just talked to my buddy. A couple just last week was on the lake, and he was off the lake by 9:30 in the morning. They were limited out already, so they're
Yeah.
hitting pretty good right now.
So Jeff Palmer, I believe, he
Yeah,
says he's at the Lake of the Ozarks, and we catch hundreds of crappies a year off our dock. One secret to jigging is to open the spread of the hook by 1/4 and tip it with a crappie nibble.
Yeah, I've
yeah. You know,
used crappie nibbles, and I've had good luck with them. But just
yeah.
one
You
thing
know,
I don't use too often.
he had actually mentioned that to me. I'd talked to him here, and I was talking about Jordan and Mike being some of the better crappie fishermen I know. Well, Jeff's another one of those people that I've fished with for many years since we were kids, and he knows crappie fishing, and that's kind of a trick or a tip that he gives, and it really does work. So if you're looking for something to actually hook more fish, because what he's telling me is by opening up the hook just a little bit, you catch them usually in the top of the mouth, and it actually catches more, and instead of pulling that jig out of their mouth. So anyway,
Huh.
he said to actually try it. You'll be amazed. So
So
I
he's
would
saying
definitely give it a try.
he's
He's
saying
hey, he's also go ahead. I'm sorry.
he's saying in the heat of the summer he trolls with bandits in water up to 50 feet deep.
Yeah, I was going to ask him about if he does that trolling. I've yet to do that. I'm an hour and a half north of Lake of the Ozarks, and that's why I hear those bandit crankbaits are really good for those crappie in the summertime, Lake of the Ozarks. And I'd love to try that. I was actually going to bring that up, but that's something I've yet to do. So,
Yeah. Well, let me also throw out the fact that he's the one that got me in all the trouble with you, Paul, over my maple syrup. So
Well,
at
I
least
haven't
at
seen.
least
I saw Little Wine not too last a while back, but I haven't seen no more wine, nor have I seen no maple syrup. Just
yeah. Well, yeah. I told him from now on when he gets on the show, just talk tips. Don't talk about my syrup and all this great. Hey, listen, I made some and I'll be glad to get you some. But
I'm
I made.
teasing. I'm teasing.
I know, but I made for the first time uh, venison bacon. Now I've had it before, and some of the meat lockers make it, and people have been getting it, but it really does taste similar to bacon. And with the price of bacon right now, I thought I'm going to make some. So I made 50 pounds. I had some deer in the freezer, and I wanted to make something. And I was amazed at how good it actually turned out. So, anyways, just throwing that
I
out there.
you know
Deer season, we've got some time, Jordan. What if you're done talking fishing, what's your thoughts, and what are you doing to prepare for the upcoming deer season? I mean, let's go out and catch a bunch of fish so when we're deer hunting we can eat fish.
Oh
But
yeah.
what what are you doing this time of year? Anything?
Well, believe it or not, I'll wait a little bit to do all my stuff, but I'll shoot my bow. That's the biggest thing. You still got to shoot in the off season. You don't want to just go out the first night without shooting. So I'll shoot my bow. I'd like to shoot at least 2 or 3 nights a week when I'm home. Just I guess just getting your stands ready. You always want to check them and move them. Especially the straps. That's probably, I was telling my buddy, we were talking the other day, and it's probably been 4 years since I've changed ratchet straps on my deer stand. So I think I'm going to buy all new ratchet straps this year and readjust all my stands just so I can have new stands and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the biggest. I've got stands that are old, and I've got stands that I've had up for a couple of years, and I don't necessarily recommend you leave them up, but I rotate some of them. But listen, one of the things that you really, really need to do, and there's so many. I mean, it's so easy to get them nowadays, but Hunter Safety System, and I've talked about this before, makes a product called a Lifeline, and it's a line that you tie at the top of your stand and at the bottom of your stand, and it has a tether that slides and it hooks to your vest. And you slide as you're climbing the tree. You just slide that up the tree with you. You can't fall. You can't fall to the ground. And most people that fall out of tree stands do it when they're getting in or out of their stand, or perhaps climbing up. Now, if they're falling out of their stands because the straps are weak and that kind of thing, and of course you can make sure that doesn't happen just by, testing them out now, checking them, making sure they're still in good working order and have strength. But bottom line is, if you're hooked to that Lifeline, you can't ever fall to the ground. So
exactly.
I do not have a stand. No longer do I have a stand that does not have a Lifeline in the tree. And the guys that come and film me, and you filmed me before, you guys, I mean, appreciate it as much, if not more, than I do, because I climbed trees for years without them, and I'm used to it. But I hang my stands pretty high, and I know you don't like getting in my stands, and John Dallas doesn't like getting in my stands. And I shouldn't say that. You guys do get in my stands, but they are a little bit high, and the insecurity that you feel is really taken away once you hook up to that Lifeline, don't you think?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. My biggest fear is, I'm a little bit bigger guy. When I go to stand up, I'm putting a lot of pressure on those stands. So I always feel like, one could just snap at any time, even if it's a new stand. There's defects and everything out there. So I just, like you said, I feel like you said, getting in, and of course you've seen me get in and out of stands. So that makes me feel a whole lot better getting in and out of the stand that I'm hooked up 100% of the time. So it's definitely.
And I've done this, and I'm not saying this is a foolproof way, but sometimes I'll take my stands that they have old straps on them, maybe, and I'll hang them at about a foot off the ground, and then I'll just jump up and down on them, making sure that it's still solid. No screws have come loose on the stand. Nothing's bent. Nothing's And then if you really want to assure yourself when you get up and hang the stand, go ahead and put a second ratchet strap over the actual strap that the stand comes with. I mean, it doesn't hurt to do that, and it's just extra strength. And again, if you feel more secure, you're going to be able to sit there more comfortably. You're going to be able to move around more comfortably. You're going to be able to shoot your bow without holding on to things more comfortably. But safety. And now listen, you can also, I don't know of a tree stand company that you can't call and order straps for your bow. I wouldn't recommend maybe just going to the local hardware store and buying just a regular old ratchet strap. You need to make sure that they're rated for a certain strength. But most of those companies will sell their straps that actually go with the stand, and so it's not a bad idea. But if you're going to paint your stands, work on them, this is the time of the year to do it. Let them paint them now. Let them set outside. Let the scent dissipate. There's so many things you can do. What else are you doing this time of year? You're shooting your bow. What are you shooting this year?
I'm shooting that Hoyt of mine. I got that Hoyt Spider 30. and
Uh-huh.
so it's been a good bow for me. So this will be my third year with it. So I'm hoping to hope I get a little bit more time to hunt this year. So and then glassing. We got thankfully Albin and Brescher supplies us with some really good tools to use. You can set out there and watch them in the bean fields this time of year, either with a spotting scope or with binoculars, just kind of see what you got. That's always my favorite. We were talking about that the other day. So
So
just scouting.
when do you, when do you put your cameras up?
We were just talking about that yesterday. I'm going to put mine up probably late July. A lot of people have theirs out now, which is fine, but what's there now will be there in July, and just you'll see them more full force. They'll be end of July. They're pretty much done growing. Give it a week or two. So I kind of like to see what that happens. So and other people, they like to keep them up there so they can get pictures of the every month and see how they progress. I'll just wait till the end of July to put mine up.
Yeah, I'll put mine up usually the middle of July. You've got antler growth up until the middle of August, at least in my area. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, they go hard horn that usually the first week of September, second week of
Yep.
September. But I could probably go out right now and start to pick out one or two deer that I might recognize from last year. But it's really kind of hard to tell until you get at least half 50% antler growth, and the deer that I've been seeing in the yard and around the area here, just they're not there yet, obviously. But some grow faster than others, and some get a quick start. And but I'm excited for this year because I had some really good deer that I know made it through the season last year, and several nice ones right here at the house. So and I know, talking to you, you've seen some pretty good ones on your grandpa's farm and some of the places you hunt after season as well.
Oh yeah. I had some really good ones. Matter of fact, we were my cousin's new farm we got. They've already went and disc out 3 different about 1 acre plots for food plots this year. This will be one of the first times I'm going to do food plots, and we decided to wait. Since he has about 150, 200 acres of corn and soybeans on his farm, we're going to wait till about August and plant something. So with you've planted food plots a lot. So I mean, what's your take on like food plots in August or whatever?
Well, it depends. So I look at food plots a little differently. Maybe not, but what I look at with food plots is, what do I want when I'm going to be hunting over them? Because
Mm-hmm.
in my area, as far as giving food, protein and mineral and all that stuff, they get it just with the local crops. We have lots of corn, lots of beans, lots of alfalfa, oats. All the farmers grow a ton of that. So I'm more interested in, how can I draw a deer to a food plot while I'm hunting? And generally, in Iowa, I start hunting the first part of November, maybe
Yeah.
the end of October. So we're talking. Obviously we've had several hard frosts by then. So hard frost affects certain food differently than others. But I like the brassicas. I like alfalfa and clover. I think is good. I really like turnips, but obviously turnips, in my opinion, are a little better late season if you're
Late.
hunting, in January. I like
Yeah.
turnips in January. Uh, I mean, corn is great and beans are good. The problem in Iowa, unless you put an electric fence around them and keep the deer out of them,
Yeah, it'll be
uh,
done.
they're gonna destroy it before November comes around. So, there's
Mm-hmm.
lots of things to look at. I would check with your ag department if you're wondering what's good in your area and what grows best and what time of the year to plant it and how thick to plant it. And there's so many things. In fact, we're probably gonna have the next week or the week after, we're gonna have a food plot specialist on, and we're gonna talk about food plots. So there'll be some good information coming. Paul, do we have any comments from anybody else? Who all's watching tonight? What we
Well,
got going on?
Jeff Palmer wants
Well,
to.
maybe I threw him a loop and didn't give him time to get his audio on.
Are you, Jeff? Are you
Oh, I
there?
see something at the bottom. Hey, Jordan, I don't know if I told you this, and if you watched last week's show, but so Edwin, Mr. Wingbone himself, and we talked about this last week. He's donating one of his new custom grunt calls. Now, first of all, there's lots of good grunt calls out there. There's no question, but he makes
Mhm.
an excellent grunt call, and I actually called in a couple of deer that I shot on video last year, and the only reason I was able to harvest that deer was because they came into the grunt call. I actually had a deer here in Iowa, was walking straight away from me, was blowing the grunt call. He turned around and came right back in. But anyway,
Mhm.
Edwin is going to give one away on an upcoming show here within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And I don't know if Paul's able to put up any of the pictures that Edwin sent in, but he sent in a couple of pictures of his
Can
grunt
you
call.
see
So
it,
I
Rick?
just wanted to make a note on
Rick,
that.
are you there?
Yep.
Paul, have we got you?
Can you hear me?
Not been able to
Yeah,
hear
those
him. Are
pictures.
you, Jordan?
Those. Yeah, no, I can't hear them, but those pictures are up right now. What I'm looking at.
Yellow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing them
Hello?
on my screen here. Maybe
Can you hear me?
there, Paul.
Yeah, I can hear
All
Paul
right.
now.
Yes.
Just a technical flaw there. So I've got the picture of the calls up. Can you see them?
I can.
And he's gone again. Getting a phone call probably.
Now I'm here.
Hey, can you see the calls?
I can't see him, but I, Jordan apparently can.
Yeah, I can see him.
So, what about these three calls that he's got going on here? What's the
So,
scoop?
Edwin makes a custom call, and I'm not sure exactly which ones he sent, but he'll make them out of cherry, walnut, oak, pecan. I mean, anything you want. And certain calls, certain wood grains give them deeper tones and higher pitches, and some are louder and some aren't. And it's really a preference. They all work. They all call deer in, and they're just beautiful calls because they are custom. It starts with a block of wood. He turns them. I mean, it is truly a custom call. So if you're wanting not only a good grunt call that works, but one that looks really cool,
So here's
make sure you
one.
get a hold of him.
Here's one where he's got a call and some scent, and he's over the top of a big rack. Jordan, you can explain that better than I can.
Yeah, it just I don't. I'm not actually sure who that is.
I don't know who it is
But
either,
yeah,
but
I think that's just a customer of
might
Mr.
be his
Wingbone's.
son or something too, maybe.
No, I'm not sure, but it's just a good, real nice deer that was obviously harvested using a Mr. Wingbone's call, from the looks of it. So, and I have a few pictures. I've had, I've been using one for about 3 or 4 years, and I think every deer I've killed, it's been after I've grunted one in. So, well,
There's
there it is right there. Yep. Yeah, that Rick actually took that picture. He was out there hunting with me that year. That was 2 years ago. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So,
yep.
anyways,
and
we're gonna be giving one away, and so we'll be doing that here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And Paul, you got to come up with an idea on how we're gonna do that. So maybe we're only going to do it for the people that are on the show that week. So you're going to
36.
want to be checking out every week. Make sure you're on the show.
There's Rick's.
Make sure you're
There's
watching.
Rick.
So
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
Oh, I see it over there on the side now. I see it coming in. Yeah, that was a deer that I shot 2 years ago as well here at the house. So, yep.
That was the deer you shot the same night I shot mine, wasn't it? In that
It could
windstorm?
be. It could be. I had a good year that year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some calls. That looks like cherry, walnut, and
One
I
looks
don't
like
know
an
if
oak one.
that's maple
Dark.
or oak. So, yeah.
36.
So, anyways, so Jordan, it's
There it is.
it's about
the other one go
6:30.
away?
It's
I don't get it. Sorry,
yeah.
my software's acting up all of a sudden.
Oh.
It's like not cooperating. I've been.
All right.
This is my fourth.
Well, anyways,
This is my fourth live show today. So yeah.
so
Nice.
you're probably ready to get home then.
Yeah. We do a lot of stuff. Our sister company is Explore Scientific, and they do a lot of telescopes, binoculars as well, and different optic type stuff. and we do an hour and a half on Amazon live every day with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I barely
Gotcha.
have time to turn around
Yeah.
and look
Yeah.
out the window.
I'd like to see Lance or somebody, or maybe even Mark, if you would do a show. Tell everybody what's news. What they have new coming out. They have a lot of, from what me and Lance talked about, a lot of nice stuff. Whether it be the new rangefinder binoculars or the thermal will be out this fall. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to discuss.
Maybe we'll try to get Lance on next week for the show,
I've
and maybe we can.
I've tried. So you guys are gonna have to
We'll get him and
try
his buddy.
for me.
Yeah, well,
Everybody's
we've got a
scared of
little
the
poll with
camera.
Lance. We'll see if we can't make it happen. Hey, Jordan, before we go, and I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds. I saw this on Facebook, so I think it's okay to announce it. But you've got some exciting news to share with our viewers that's coming up around Christmas time, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, me and my wife is expecting a baby, so
I'm
There you go.
sorry.
Going to be a papa again. That's good.
yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
I
Thanks. Yep.
Yeah. So,
is it a
It's
celebration or
oh yeah. It
of
is a
of
celebration.
course it is.
I don't have
So
any kids, so for me it's like whatever.
yeah.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
No.
I'm
Nope.
not that
Nope.
mean.
It's good.
Oh, that's
So
great. That's
of course
great.
everybody's pulling for a girl since we have 3 boys between me and my wife, but I'm a
So
little
you need an
biased. I'd
army.
rather.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs their own army. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, listen, it's that time of the evening, Jordan. Hey, thanks for coming
Yep.
on tonight. We've been trying to get you on for a few weeks, and I know you've been tied up with work and stuff, but finally we made it happen. Paul, thanks for putting everything together on your end, and
Yeah.
we'll have
Thank
a
you.
guest next week. I'm gonna try to set something up and talk about food plots, so we'll see if we can make that happen. But regardless, we'll be here, same time, same place, next Wednesday, 6 to 6:30, on the hunt with Alpine Optics. On behalf of everybody, we appreciate you coming along, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See ya. Thank you.
Good night.
Yep.